One of the largest contributors to our nation's enormous success has been our free enterprise system, which certainly elevates the dignity of work. At its core, free enterprise recognizes that the essence of human happiness is not just making money, but creating value, value in one's own life, value in the lives of others. The path to true happiness, according to economist Arthur Brooks, is earned success. And it speaks to the moment when your effort, your sacrifices, your investment in yourself in whatever endeavor pays off. One way to illustrate this idea, Brooks asks a question. When you get your first raise at work, will you celebrate the day you get the news or a few weeks later when you get the new paycheck? Most people celebrate when they get the news because the reason you're celebrating isn't just the material byproducts of your success, but the satisfaction of knowing that your efforts succeeded and they were recognized. And in a free enterprise system, success can be earned by anyone. Markets don't ask the color of your skin or who your parents were. There's no greater system than free enterprise for tearing down the barriers of class and status. So how can we support such a system? The answer is simple. Mostly get out of the way. The most recent experiment in free enterprise occurred in the last few years when Republicans unmoored the economy from overtaxation and excessive regulation. What were the results? Well, before COVID hit, it was just the best economy of my lifetime. We had more job openings in America than people looking for jobs. We had a record low poverty rate. Black and Hispanic unemployment rates hit all-time lows. And across the boards, wages were growing, but they were growing fastest for the lowest income Americans. So we were narrowing the income gap as well. That is how you recognize the dignity of work, with accessible jobs for everyone and increasing pay rates. All of this was spurred on by the steps Republicans took to enact pro-growth tax reform and deregulation. Unfortunately, rather than trying to return to the best economy in 50 years, some folks are proposing policies that dramatically diminish our chances of getting back to that level. Whether it's championing stakeholder capitalism, which calls on corporations to pursue a liberal social agenda rather than prioritize its responsibilities to its owners, or paying people more not to work than they get paid to work, which, although I'm sure this is not the intent, certainly seems to have the effect of denigrating the value of their work. Although the list of ill-conceived policy ideas is long, I'd like to address two specific proposals that, if passed, would certainly prevent our economy from reaching its potential. One is a prohibition on share buybacks, and the other is an increase in the capital gains tax. I would suggest there are at least three major reasons why prohibiting stock buybacks is a really bad idea. First, it's a direct attack on freedom. Banning share buybacks would restrict the ability of shareholders to run their own company. The owners of a company have the right to decide what to do with profits after all expenses and taxes have been paid. And share buybacks are simply a mechanism by which shareholders take out some of the money that they own. Second, share buybacks serve a really important function in the economy. They facilitate long-term investment by redirecting funds from lower to higher growth companies. And banning buybacks would slow economic growth as this capital fuels investment in business's future. Third, banning buybacks would hurt the very people that its advocates intend to help. In the U.S., about 40% of all equities are held in pension and retirement accounts. And share buybacks are good for their investments because it returns cash that can be redeployed rather than sitting underutilized on a company's balance sheet. Another terrible idea is the Biden administration's plan for a massive increase in capital gains tax. They want to almost double the capital gains rate to a mind-boggling 43.4% to help pay for enormous spending. This would be a grave mistake. There are good reasons why we tax capital gains, which is the realized gain on an appreciated asset, at a lower rate than ordinary income. First, part of an asset's appreciation is just inflation. Makes no sense to tax that. Second, in most cases, like stocks, the asset has already paid tax on its income. And finally, investment leads to economic growth, which is something we don't want to inhibit. Now, on top of all this, almost doubling the capital gains tax wouldn't even increase tax collections. According to the Nonpartisan Joint Committee on Taxation, a 43.4% capital gains tax would actually reduce federal tax revenue for a variety of reasons. Now, why would we want to levy a tax that will decrease investment in the economy and result in less tax revenue for the government? That certainly doesn't make any sense. Let me conclude with this. I think we should do everything we can to preserve and elevate the dignity of work. The most effective way to do that is by allowing the economy and free enterprise to flourish, thereby creating employment opportunity and increasing wages for everyone. Capitalism has proven to be the greatest driver of prosperity in history. We should support rather than inhibit this engine of growth and opportunity for all Americans. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.